I'm from Detroit, Michigan, and I've given my life to Christ 7 years now. And before I gave my life to Christ, my life was filled with shame and fear because the type of environment I grew up around was full of drug dealers. My mother was a drug dealer. My father was a drug dealer. My sister was a drug dealer. Everyone around me were drug dealers. And I can remember being the only one that thought something was wrong with that picture. And I was so full of fear because we would have drive-by shootings at my house. I couldn't even play outside like a normal child. My sister would be tied up and beaten because they wanted the money that my mom had. I used to have private hiding spaces just in case someone came into the house. And God made me a certain way, and just because I didn't know him, I still was that way, just full of love and full of, just peace. That's the way he made me. And growing up in that type of environment, and everyone around me, the men that were around me, they molested me. I was molested from the time I was 5 on up, and then I began to be raped by the men every single day. And every person that raped me or molested me were family members. So at the age of 11, I gave my virginity away because I wanted to be normal. I thought I wasn't normal because only the man that wanted me was the man that were related. So the first man that showed me any attention, I gave myself to him. And I started to give myself over and over from man to man to man. And I became addicted to that life. And throughout the years, I said when I graduated from high school, I was going to run away, the first thing. And I thought my new life, my better life, was going to be me graduating from college. Little did I know, when I got to college, God had a plan for me. And when I got to college, even going through the molestation and the rape and all the shame and all the fear, I held it inside of me. And I never blamed God for it. I never blamed anyone. I just took it in, and I took it in, and I got to college, and my mother went into prison. She was in prison for 7 years. She was my God. I knew she was going to make it right. And even though she made bad choices, she showed me so much love. I couldn't see her sin. And so my college year, I was in my room. I was living with a roommate, but I wasn't expecting her no time soon. And everything began to come up, and the spirit of darkness came into my room. This is before I even knew Christ. I wasn't raised in a church. I was sitting in my room, and I said, okay, this is it. I'm about to end it. I'm about to end it. And I had a whole bottle of pills from the dentist, of pain pills, and I poured them on my floor, and I got a tall glass of water because I wasn't expecting to be alive the next day. I was going to end it right there because I didn't have any hope at that point. And on my TV, I don't know how it got on there, but T.D. Jakes was on there, and he was saying, I don't know where you are, but you're thinking about ending your life. But know that God has a plan. And the moment he said that, it rose from the deepest part of me. God, if you're real, come and save me. And the moment I said that, it was like a rushing wind that came in my room. And I started speaking in tongues. And I didn't even know what that was. And I ran out of my apartment because I was so scared because he was real. I knew it full well then. And I ran out of my apartment, and just so happened my roommate came home early, and I tried to explain it to her, but I couldn't speak. And then later I began to explain it to her, and she told me what it was, and that's from that point on, my life, God rescued my life. I never said a cuss word a day again from that moment. He baptized my mouth, and I was addicted to sex, so that was my struggle. That was my main struggle. And I said to God, I will do this. I called every man in my life. I called every friend, and I said, I'm done. I'm done. I am completely done. I am living for this man. I'm going to live for this man. And so I said, God, well, I can't do this without having a husband. So you got to send me a husband. And so he said, no, that's not how it works. And so over the time, for a year, I was addicted to masturbation because I thought it was okay. At least I'm not sleeping with a man. But then God delivered me from that. And so it's been 7 years since I've given myself to a man, and a man has touched me. It's been 6 years. 6 years since I've given myself completely to God without a man touching me. And so now here I am today, and I came here to IHOP, and before I came here, I thought I knew God's love. But because of the shame I still held on to, I was in a class, a bridegroom class, and Dale was speaking. And he began to say, though your heart is dark, I call you lovely. And I received that in my heart. It's like my heart shattered. And I began to let the love of God flow over me. And before that, my sister Paula, because of the shame and because of the religious feeling I had, and because I didn't receive love, I didn't know how to look at people who were differently and who God has tremendously, had mercy on. I didn't know how to look at them in that way. Although everything in me wanted to love her, I was irritated by her. And God began to reveal that to my heart. And the moment I began to receive his love, when I saw her, I began to weep. And I said, God, I love this girl. I love this girl. And it's because you love this girl. And I began to see every one of my sisters and brothers that were in my track. And I just began to weep over them. And I tell you, the power of God's love, you can love someone to life. Just by the power of God's love. All it takes is love. All it takes is love. My life is completely changed. My mother is saved. My sister is saved. And everything has been made new in my life. And coming here to IHOP has completely destroyed everything I thought I was, everything I thought I was going to be, striving and everything else that I thought mattered, completely ruined it. And the only thing that mattered to me, now is the love of God. If I never did anything in my life but loved him and received his love, that is enough.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. You see, she thought she could get free on her own. And it's only the love of Jesus that set her free completely. It's only the love of Jesus. You see, some of you listen to these stories and say, that's not who I am. I've managed by my own willpower to overcome sin. But I tell you what, you don't truly overcome until you run into love and encounter love. Until you run into love and encounter love. If you have not encountered love, you will not love others the way that the Lord wants you to love others. Until that lie that you have to perform to earn God's favor is broken, you will hold others at a distance, and you will hold others accountable to the standard that you have put upon yourself to please God. See, she said she was bound in performance. She knew that she was free, but she thought she had to live by performing for God now. You see, when God, it's like the prodigal son. He came back. He thought, if I can now work hard enough, I can work my way into my Father's affections. But we don't overcome our past by working our way into our Father's affections. He already loves us. He's waiting for us, and he wants to bring us not into the servant quarters, but into the heart of his love.